The business that you chose to be in, managed services, it's already one of the most complex kinds of businesses on the planet. You just stop and think about everything that you have to support, all the different clients, the different setups, the different technologies. And yet, I see loads of MSPs making their lives even harder by overcomplicating things in their business that could and should be simple. So let's talk about how you can make your business easier to run and more profitable by simplifying everything. Hey, I'm Paul Green, and don't forget, for help finding new clients for your MSP, we've created an easy-to-follow marketing system. Get that and all the content to go in it at MSPmarketingedge.com. So I'm on a bit of a simplification mission right now. We've had some fairly major development projects in our business over the last 12 months, and while I was focusing on those and constantly reducing complication within those projects and just making everything simpler, I realized we could do this across the business because we've been going for 8 years. And what happens is when you've been going that long, you kind of hold on to legacy stuff, things that we're just doing things because, or something that worked really well 6 years ago that there's now a better way of doing it. And for me, it's a really exciting thing to just go through the business like a tornado and just simplify everything. So I've given myself a new job title. I am Head of Simplification, and I'm using this as an opportunity to review everything we do in the business, asking this big question: how can we make this simpler? Because that's actually a very powerful question to ask. Is this a question you ask yourself in your MSP regularly? Just because you can handle high levels of complication doesn't mean that you should put up with high levels of complication. In fact, I truly believe that the simpler business is, the more fun it is to run and the more profitable it can be. And I guess there are two main places where you can simplify your business. So the first is your operations and what you do. Now, at the risk of starting you down a road of looking at your tech stack, because I'm always hesitant to suggest an MSP reviews their tech stack in case it becomes a bad case of tech stack fiddling, where you're attracted to the shiny thing. Maybe you should just be asking yourself, does my PSA allow me to run the business as simply as possible? Is my RMM easy to use but also powerful enough to do all the things we need it to do? Look at your standard operating procedures, and these are the manual for how you run your business. So what kind of business are they encouraging you to run in their complexity? Now, I'm sure you're all over automation, which surely must be the ultimate way of simplifying something because you're removing the humans from it. But other suggestions include removing steps where you can, asking yourself why something is done and whether it's just for heritage reasons, like I was saying earlier, rather than because it's useful today. And I think the most useful thing to do is to talk to your team, the people who are actually running these processes, who are following your standard operating procedures, and ask them what needs to be simplified. Ask them what's surplus to requirements. What job do they hate doing every single week? And then focus your attention on reducing or removing those jobs. So, the first main place where you can simplify everything is operations, but what's the second main place? Well, surely that's the clients. And by that I mean, can you simplify their technology setups? Now, I appreciate your immediate knee-jerk reaction to this might be, no, I can't, Paul, and you're mad. But hear me out, because I've worked with a few MSPs over the years who insist on a standard setup for a client. So when a new client joins them, they must migrate all of their technology to the MSP's preferred way of doing things. So for example, that might be having a standard router or router in every single client. Now, the exact same router made by the exact same manufacturer in every single client. Can you see the huge benefits of that? As a business, you and your technicians become utter experts on that specific type of router. If you pick up an error with one of the routers that you're looking after, then you can proactively go and prevent that error or check for that error in other client spaces, which is great. And, as you know, I'm not a tech person, but this has always made sense to me as a way of reducing down the complications within an MSP. I appreciate it probably reduces your options a little bit in the sense that if a client won't change their technology, they're never going to switch over to you. But I suspect that's more than made up for in the increase in profit and customer service from having a single type of technology to support. Tell me, is this something you do in your MSP? If you could wave a magic wand and simplify anything tomorrow, what would that be?
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Edge.